Welcome to the Blue Lounge. Welcome to the stream. I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic evening. And I do apologize for being 5 minutes late, but I swear to you, we had so many technical difficulties going live. We were supposed to go live at 10 p.m. on the dot, but boy, first show, first episode, things were bound to happen. Let me let me welcome my guests. I know I'll put you guys on mute so you can unmute yourselves when you're talking. Andreas,
Hello,
welcome
brother.
welcome to your show. How are you? How you doing?
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm really good and really looking forward to this. So it's gonna be a great show.
It is going to be a great show. It's going to be a fantastic show, a fantastic evening. We're going to be discussing all the topics, all the major news stories. We're going to be discussing them tonight. Hopefully, we'll be able to cover them all. So I'm looking forward to that. I have my critical thinker, Julius, the man himself. Big up to you, Julius. How are you? How you doing?
Good to see you, Mo. Thanks. I'm good. Very excited today, actually.
It's my pleasure to have you both on the show. It is my pleasure to have you both on the show. Let me just say hello to my people in the chat, and then we'll get cracking. Let me see who's in the chat. We'll go from the first person to comment is Eric Dugan. Big up, my man Mo. I am excited for your new format. So am I, and I'm hoping it works out. Courtney Wagwan Wood Boy. Big up to you, Courtney. Good to have you in the chat. Always a pleasure. Jeff, big up Mo and big up Mo and big up the Blue Lounge. Big up to you, Jeff. And listen, you gotta listen to Jeff. You have to listen to Jeff and get your likes in early, people. The more people liking the stream earlier, the more it's gonna get recommended by the YouTube algorithm, and we're gonna get more people to benefit from this show. So please smash that like button early doors. Chris, big up to you, my man. I hope you're doing well, my brother. Chris is saying like, share, subscribe. Lukaku to go ASAP. I'm glad to see Christensen gone. He has had more stomach problems than good performances for Chelsea. All major signings to be done by pre-season up the Chelsea. Listen, best luck to Christensen. Hopefully he can find a club, because he decided to leave Chelsea and Barcelona kind of are in trouble. So, big up to Chris and big up to Christensen. Hopefully he can find a club that will take him. JJ Bridge, big up guys, big up to you, JJ. Welcome. Daniel Crane, big up Mo, everyone in the chat. Hope everyone is good. Daniel, I hope you're doing good, my brother. Big up to you. And John Arnold is saying big up, hottest show on the net. Friday nights with Mohammed Kasim and Andreas Kosnord. You forgot Julius, but we'll allow that. Big up to you, Luke Mudway. Good to have you here. Faldiaso, big up to you. Ali Louet, big up to you. CFC. Am I missing anyone? English 2 games. Javi, Ibrahim. I don't want to miss anyone. I do not want to miss anyone. I think I've covered everyone in the chat. If I have missed anyone, I do apologize. Welcome all to the show. Welcome all to the stream. Hit that like button. Let's get to 50 likes as soon as possible. I see here Mason Gaming. Big up everyone. Hope Dembele is a done deal. We'll ask and we'll find out for you where we are in respect to Dembele. Andreas, my brother, listen. There is a lot of rumors, a lot of talk. From many different sources, and people in the Chelsea community are a little bit, what's the word here, worried, because some clubs have already made moves, made signings. If they haven't made signings, they've already, started to make a lot of progress in respect to signings. While as Chelsea, it seems like we haven't really done much there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of rumours, but we haven't really done much. So I want to ask you about a few positions and a few players, and I want to know what it is that you've heard and what it is that you're able to tell us in respect to the situation with them. Now, one story that has been very what's the word here, popular on social media is Gabriel Jesus coming in to Chelsea and Romelu Lukaku going back to Inter Milan. So this would be the striker position for this coming season. What can you tell us in respect to this story, and where are we in respect to Gabriel Jesus coming in and Lukaku going out?
So the striker situation is actually not the main priority for the first position we want to address in this market. So Chelsea has to sell one attacker to get another striker in. So if they are going to get Gabriel Jesus, they have to sell Romelu Lukaku. So it's all depends on both with Gabriel Jesus and Lukaku. It's true that Chelsea looks at Gabriel Jesus because they see a good opportunity now on the market. His price is pretty cheap. You can probably get him for around 50 million euros, something around that mark. So it's going to be a cheap price for a player like him. And Tuchel likes the player because Gabriel Jesus also fits to the bill in the attack. He can make the passes, he presses. So he's totally a different player than Lukaku. But we have to, or Chelsea have to sell Lukaku to bring in Gabriel Jesus. Actually, in the attack line, Chelsea are looking more at the winger position before a striker as a priority as of now.
In respect to Gabriel Jesus, from what I've heard, there's reports that he's been offered to Chelsea. I've also heard that Tottenham and Arsenal are also looking to acquire this player. Who is closer to signing this player? Who is showing more interest and more? Who's more serious about him from these three clubs?
As of now, Arsenal has been the club that has been most, how can I say, positive about this transfer because they wanted this player for a long time. They know it's really difficult because Gabriel Jesus wants Champions League football, and that's why he has been offered to Chelsea. Because the player himself, if he could choose one of the clubs, he would choose Chelsea because we have the Champions League football. So that's why he has waited a bit because Arsenal has already offered contracts to Gabriel Jesus, but Gabriel Jesus is waiting a bit to see what's going to happen with Chelsea. But as of now, it's quiet. Chelsea have not been in any advanced talks with City or with the agent or anything like this yet. They have only talked to some people to check about the player, so it's nothing advanced. But they know that also Gabriel Jesus has been known that they have to get rid of Lukaku to get him into Chelsea. But he is waiting now to see what's going to happen because he would rather choose Chelsea than any of the other London clubs.
Okay, I know Julius wants to come in and talk about how Gabriel Jesus can benefit or adapt to Chelsea and their style, but in respect to Lukaku going out, there's been a lot of rumours about him going out alone with an option to buy, obligation to buy from Inter Milan. Chelsea pay a portion of his wage. Where are we exactly in respect to Lukaku and Inter Milan? What have you heard is a potential outcome in respect to this deal of Lukaku going to Inter Milan?
Well, since the interview escalated, the relationship between Tuchel and the player has been really bad. So Tuchel are really open to letting him go. It's not like that he wants to rush him out or anything like this, but from his preference, he would let Lukaku leave at the moment. It's really difficult because, Lukaku just turned 29 years old and they bought him for almost 100 million pounds. So to sell him a player like this is going to be really, really difficult. And also because Inter Milan is also now in a bad financial situation. So it's going to be really, really difficult to get him out. That's why they also now are negotiating about a loan. But it's going to be really, really difficult because Chelsea doesn't want to make this cheap. So if they doesn't get what they want for even in the loan fee, they're not gonna do it because they are totally fine to just have Lukaku in the club for another year if they don't get what they can offer, because there are still people in Chelsea, for example, Petr Cech, that still believes in Lukaku. There are still people in Chelsea that still believes in the player. Everyone in the clubs knows that he has still a lot of talent and he can be useful for us. So they are not going to sell him for crazy cheap and take huge losses on the player. They are going to do it only if on their terms.
All right. Julius, what's your thoughts on Gabriel Jesus coming to Chelsea?
I have a look. He might be decent. He might be a decent player, but I look at it a little bit differently because what is happening now is that we signed a flop and we overpaid for him, and then City goes and sign the best striker in the world in a young age, that the one we were supposed to be signing. City wants to get rid of the striker that has been deteriorating the past few years, and now we come in, we try to sell Lukaku to rectify the losses or to get some of our money back, to go sign a City player that they don't really rate that much, and we hope that he'll be good and fit the system.
I disagree. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I disagree with you. I know what you're saying. Gabriel Jesus is not a prolific goal scorer. He's not a prolific striker. He's possibly he's a forward, winger, false nine, a 10, but he's not a target man type of striker. However, we did examine his numbers, me and Boogeyman, a couple of nights ago, and he's averaging a goal every 2 games almost. And the fact that he doesn't play all that much, doesn't start all that much, these are decent numbers. And he's played, especially this season, a lot of the games he's played, which is a little bit strange. He's played actually, in a more wide role rather than down the centre. I think Gabriel Jesus should not be underestimated in respect to his finishing and his goal scoring potential. But the Lukaku situation is what concerns me, because if Lukaku doesn't go, will we get Gabriel Jesus? And there's a question here from Faldiaso, which I think is quite relevant as well. Andreas, this is Boogeyman. Boogeyman is asking you, he says, Lukaku has to go for Jesus to come in. Is Dembele's future tied to Lukaku leaving? And I think he's meaning, will the Dembele deal come in if Lukaku doesn't go?
Can Dembele be here if also Lukaku is there, basically? Yeah. Can he come in if Lukaku still is there? The answer is yes on that. So the winger situation is something different. Lukaku can stay and still Dembele comes in, but then we have to sell one of Hakim Ziyech, Timo Werner, or Christian Pulisic, and it's more likely going to be Werner or Ziyech, for example.
That's interesting. So you think that Pulisic is immune from being sold this window?
Yeah, also because his age, they look at his age that he still has a lot of potential. If you look at Hakim Ziyech, he's now in his prime. He can't really improve a lot, but Pulisic is still a player that's still young, that still has market value in many more years to come. But Hakim Ziyech, if they want to get money for Hakim Ziyech, they need to sell him now. And also, Timo Werner is a little bit different player. He's not really a winger. He's more like a second striker or another position. But from what I'm hearing at the moment, if some of these players has to go, it looks like it's going to be Werner or Hakim Ziyech and not Pulisic. Also because Pulisic also has a lot of market value And you can see in the USA, he's a big brand for Chelsea there also. So that's important too, if you look at it in the financial way also.
Yeah. I see your comment there, Eric Dugan, regarding Declan Rice. We will address the midfield in a moment. I want to focus on the forwards. We'll address the forwards, the midfield, and the defense in the stream. But just bear with us. We'll get down. We'll get to Declan Rice in due course. Sterling, where are we with that rumor? Because it's picking up pace. He wants to play in the Champions League. He wants to play in the Premier League, but he's not happy at the game time he's getting at Man City. Is Chelsea seriously moving for Raheem Sterling, or again is it just speculation at this point?
Well, they are serious because they have him in the list, so he's one of the players that they are really serious about. They have also Ousmane Dembele is in this mix. I was told that Ousmane Dembele is the first priority on this list, so Raheem Sterling is more like a second option as of now because they can't get two new wingers this summer. I don't think so. I think we're only going to see one new winger come in, and that's going to be probably either of Ousmane Dembele and Raheem Sterling. I don't think we're going to see both come in.
All right. Interesting because there are some who are reporting that both might be coming in. I'm also hearing that Dembele is potentially already done. We're just waiting for an announcement. Are we that far in the transaction, or is it too soon to be talking about the deal already being done?
It's not a done deal. It's not even advanced talks, I would say. It's almost that, but it's not even at that stage because you can say it's almost close because the player is a free agent, and when you talk to the player a lot, and when you get a green light from the player that he would like to move, etc., then you can say it's all pretty close. But it's not a done deal. It's not a done deal because Ousmane Dembele takes it totally relaxed. He's waiting for all proposals on the table before he decides. He's not in a rush. The market has just started, so it's not any rush with Ousmane Dembele. He's taking his time to decide as of now.
I have a question for Andreas, just a clarification. When about that Dembele Sterling both coming to Chelsea, so you're basically not saying it's impossible or it's not gonna happen that we get both, but maybe it's tough to get both, right? That's just
it's really hard because then we have to sell a lot of attackers. I can't personally see it because remember we're going to offload players in every positions. We are going to offload players at center backs. We already know that in every single apartment there are so many players leave, so it's not the best way to change the whole squad in one summer, and that's also the feeling from Chelsea. So they're going to mainly focus to sort out the defense first before deciding what to do with the wingers. For example, if we come 1 month in the market and Chelsea have already bought two new center backs, already bought Sterling or Dembele and made a midfielder, and have sold a lot of players and have one more space to buy one more winger in, then yes, then it's a possibility. But it looks really unlikely because they don't want to change the whole squad in one summer. There's a lot of other positions that we also need. It's not only about the winger situation. And Tuchel also, he knows that the attackers hasn't scored that much, but he trusts a lot of the attacking players also we have in the squad. For example, he doesn't want Havertz, Pulisic. He really likes these players also, so he doesn't want to change it all. And it's also about squad depth. So there are going to be good players also to have on the bench.
Right. Andreas, what you're saying is going to give people a heart attack because we were all expecting to sign some players early doors. I personally thought that Kounde could be happening quite early in the window, but from what you've said, we are going to have to wait a little while before Dembele's situation becomes official. Now, we'll get to the defense in a minute because I know there's a lot to discuss in regards to the defense, but Tchouaméni is a player that Chelsea were close to signing last season. We didn't because we thought he was, unproven. The price was too high, and we missed the boat on him. He's gone to Real Madrid. Attention has now shifted to Declan Rice, but we all know West Ham are a little bit crazy when it comes to their asking price for Declan Rice. Is Chelsea going to sign Declan Rice or attempt to sign Declan Rice this transfer window?
They might check out the water to make some inquiries again, but then we know the answer from West Ham is going to be give us 150 million pounds. So it's going to be really, really difficult to get him. Personally, I can't see it. It's going to be so difficult because the player has a contract with West Ham, and they with how they deal with the players that are on contract there, they're not allowed to sell the players, or the players are not allowed to leave. So I think Declan Rice is more a player to look at for the next summer. I think that's going to be really difficult. I think Chelsea are going to look at cheaper options. We know that Bissouma and Sangare are two players that they have in this list. And also remember that we're going to have some players back as well. We're going to have Billy Gilmore back. We're going to have Conor Gallagher. They're going to be in the preseason. So we're going to see about that. But personally, from what I've been told and from what I'm hearing, it seems really, really unlikely to get Declan Rice this summer because of the price tag.
I have an interjection here. Wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did see somewhere that if we pay apparently 75 million, not sure the source, I saw it on Twitter. They'll sell it. They'll sell him. Is that true?
75 million?
Yeah. There are rumors everywhere, but I can't. Maybe they will probably discuss this. Only something like this can happen if Declan Rice is really pushing for the transfer and goes crazy almost to push for Chelsea. But I can't see West Ham accepting something like this. Their stance has been clear. They won't sell if they don't get a crazy fantasy offer. That's the only way they're going to sell. So it seems really difficult for Declan Rice this summer.
All right. Julius, do you have anything else to add in respect to the midfield?
I think Declan Rice is a must because it's very obvious that Tuchel wants him, and I just can't believe that we justify to pay £100 million for Lukaku last year. We can't justify paying for Declan Rice. I'm not saying go pay 150 million.
What would be a good price for you, mate? What would be a good price for you?
85 million. And I think
would they sell for 85 million?
Yeah, I think they will. To be honest, look, there is a lot of rumors about West Ham. For example, they posted something about the advertisement of their kits or something. Declan Rice was not among the players advertising the kits. Is that a sign that he may be causing problems? Not causing problem, but maybe putting a little bit pressure on West Ham board to drop the price or to sell him? Because also you have to think more about something in Andreas. He's still young, but in his mind, football career is a short one. And he's like, okay, I love West Ham. I'm grateful to them. How long am I going to stay there? I need to start winning. And I'm playing the best football in my life right now. So let's see. Let's see what happens. But I agree with Andreas. It's very difficult.
All right. Now, I have a problem here. If Chelsea don't get Declan Rice, then they have to get a midfielder in. I don't see Tuchel backing Billy Gilmore as being an alternative. Saul Niguez has gone back. Loftus-Cheek is makeshift at best when it comes to the holding midfielder role. He's more advanced. He's an 8 rather than a 6. And I think either Tuchel changes his system or he does need to bring in another holding midfielder. Andreas, will we see any of our top 3 midfielders departing? A possibility that Kante, Jorginho, or Kovacic can be out this season, this window?
Yeah, only if a crazy offer comes in or something like this, because Tuchel are really happy with Jorginho, Kante, and Kovacic. Those 3 players are really, really important for Tuchel. I know a lot of the fan base, for example, they doesn't rate Jorginho, and other people in the fan base now wants Kante, feels like Kante is finished, is done, and everything like this. But in Tuchel's mind, he still likes the players, and I think they are a lot more likely that these players are going to stay at the club at the moment, because maybe the midfield situation are something that Chelsea are going to more address in the next window, because we are going to address the defensive line and also the attacking line more this season. That's the priorities for Chelsea. So that's probably something they're going to address more next season.
All right.
I see them both staying, both Jorginho and Kante staying this summer. But we see, for example, if Juventus comes in with something, with a good offer, they might accept it, and then, for example, everything can change, and then they might go for Declan Rice, even. But still, if that would be unlikely, it would still be more likely if they would go in for just buy Zuma or something like this.
I have a question for Andreas.
Yeah, go
on. So, as you mentioned, Todd Bowley is given the power in transfers, especially in picking the targets to Tuchel, right?
Yes, so Tuchel is gonna be the main decider this season of what targets we're gonna go for and which players we're gonna get.
Yeah. So my question here is: let's say Declan Rice price is £100 million. That's the price, for example. If Tuchel goes to Bowley and says, "I want this player; he's vital for my plans next season," especially that I think we do need a midfielder. And there is not much around in the market. Like, I can't think personally of anyone. To be honest, I did mention to Andreas offline Milinkovic-Savic is someone I like a lot. But I don't think there is anyone like Declan Rice with that quality available for us. If the case is Tuchel goes to Bowley and says, "I want Declan Rice," do you think Bowley would be willing to put 100 million on Declan Rice?
I think he would be willing to do that, but then he will also address to Thomas Tuchel that then we won't have the same budget to go for defenders, because if we're going to get both Jules Kounde and, for example, a Koulibaly or a De Ligt or something like this on the left centre back position, it's going to be really, really expensive. Then you're going to add this with the £100 million Declan Rice. Then we are probably around spent 200 million already, and then we are going to look at the attacking players as well. If you are going to look at Sterling, that's another 50 or something like this. It's going to be really, really difficult to get all these players, because it's going to be really, really expensive. Look, and then we haven't even addressed the wingback situations. So that's the problem, because look at the center backs, how much it's going to cost to get both Jules Kounde and another center back in, and that's the problem that they're looking at the moment. And also we are looking at, you see in the midfield with Gallagher coming back, with Gilmore coming back, they also need a future. So will Gallagher really have a future at the club also, if we're going to bring in Declan Rice in also? What's going to happen with Connor?
Andreas, I wanna go to the defense and talk about the wing backs because the way we suffered this season because of the injury to Reece James and to Ben Chilwell was a massive factor in us dropping out of the title race. COVID played a part, fixtures and whatnot, but the injury to Ben Chilwell and to Reece James it was a big blow for us. Now it does look like Aspilicueta's situation isn't quite clear whether he's staying or going, depending on external factors. Not number one. Number two, Marcus Alonso is possibly leaving, potentially leaving. Is Chelsea looking to bring in someone in that wing back role? And if they are, who do you think that person can be?
So on the left-hand side, I think that we know that Ben Chilwell is going to be the main left wing back next year, but
Yeah.
at the moment they're looking at Emerson Palmieri to bring him back to be the second option. So I don't think we are actually going to buy a left wing back. On the right-hand side, though, it's two choices. If we are going to bring in a new one, then they're looking at many different players. It's a long list. It's not really easy to understand which players are goes for yet because they are going to address so many other positions before this position. But for example, someone like Dumfries is a player that they like. Also, they have the chance to get Dujon Sterling back to be the backup to Reece James next year. But also, it all depends on Aspilicueta because the Aspilicueta situation now is really also unclear. It's really unclear because Aspilicueta, he wants to go to Barcelona. He wants to go to Barcelona. He wants to be to spend his last couple of years in Barcelona. We know that
But
Xavi has been.
Barcelona
Yeah.
having financial problems, Andreas. Could they make room for Aspilicueta right now?
Yeah, but they does, but they are making moves to fix this situation, and still, from what I'm hearing, we know all the rumors about they are broke and this and that, but Barcelona are in some way somehow trying to solve the situation, and still they are interested in buying players, so they are still gonna register Andreas Christensen. He's gonna play for Barcelona. I'm not quite sure how they do it, but that's the situation right now. So it's still very likely that Aspilicueta can go to Barcelona. The only problem is that Barcelona are not willing to offer the price that Chelsea wants because Chelsea would like probably around something almost 10 million euros for Aspilicueta, something around that. Only that because he has just 1 year left, but it's going to be really hard to get it to get rid of him to Barcelona because they also have just around they want to use like 3 or 4 million euros to sign him because it's really crazy. They are really in this poor situation, but they're still serious about it because the player is key here. The player is key because the player wants to go to Barcelona. But also we know that already Rudiger Christensen has went. So it's a really strange situation at the moment with Aspilicueta. It's so many different factors in this situation. Also, another factor in this situation is that Thomas Tuchel wants the player to be a part of the squad next year. So we might just see Aspilicueta stay for another season and then leave for free. That's another option. But Barcelona really wants the player. Xavi has him as first priority as right back for the season, and also Aspilicueta wants to go. So it's a really strange situation, as I says.
Before I talk about Kounde, Koulibaly, and Delict,
Mm.
I want to know why isn't people liking my stream? I mean, what is this? What is this? 76 likes. There's a
Go
hundred
and
of
like
you
it,
watching
people.
this.
Like the
There's
stream,
a hundred.
people.
There's 100 people watching. There's 100 people watching. 76 likes. I don't know, man. Are we doing something wrong here? Come on, guys. Let's get some likes in the stream. Let's get some likes in the stream. Hit that like button. And if you're new, subscribe to the Blue Lounge. I want to see some of you mans become regulars on my channel. So subscribe to the Blue Lounge. And this show is a weekly show, people. weekly. Every Friday night, we will be discussing all the latest transfer news, rumors, speculations, and stories. Every Friday night, me, Julius, and Andreas. So make sure you subscribe, and if you do subscribe, turn that bell notification button on. Andreas, how close is the Kounde signing?
Well, I would say it's pretty close. We know that Jules Kounde was in London uh, a few weeks back, or some days, I would say, but we know that he has already been in London. People might think that he was only there to, yeah, just visit London and stuff, but it's clear that he was there to meet people in Chelsea and to try to finalize the move. It's pretty clear. The player really he just wants Chelsea basically now. He wants to get the transfer done and everything like this. And from a long time, we thought that Sevilla wanted the release clause to sell Jules Kounde this summer. But now it looks like they have set down the release clause a little bit, and the price tag is now around 65 million euros or something like this. So this is a price tag that Chelsea are willing to go. The personal terms are agreed, so that's not going to be any problem. But I think now that Chelsea are just waiting a little bit because Jules Kounde are now with France, with the national team, everything like this. They're waiting a little bit. But I think now in the coming days, maybe 1 or 2 weeks, they're really going to start going direct contacts. Then Marina is going to negotiate the transfer to bring Jules Kounde to Chelsea. I think it's going to be done very, very soon.
Are we seeing any changes in the way Chelsea do business under Todd Bowley than they were under Roman Abramovich? And the reason why I'm saying this is because looking at it from where I'm sitting, we're still slow as hell to do business. It's like, I know we're only a few hours, we're not even 24 hours into the transfer window. But people are expecting things to happen really quickly. Is there any signs of any changes, or is it the same old Chelsea slow as heck business style? Business
Yeah,
model?
yeah, it might be slow because at the moment they are considering all transfer. They are still in the planning process. But in a change is that Thomas Tuchel is going to be a lot more decisive. So the manager is going to choose a lot more who we are going to get in this summer. So he is probably the main guy now that decides which player that's going to. What players that's going to come to the club. So that's probably one of the big changes. Also, that Marina, she doesn't have that much to say this summer about who is going into the club, but she is going to be the main negotiator. So Tuchel is the main head behind every transfer, but Marina is going to be the woman that's going to negotiate all the transfer coming in. So that I will say is a change. But we still haven't got the totally new board and everything like this. It's going to be pretty much the same that we have had the last few summers now. It's going to take a little bit time to settle before we're going to have the totally new format in the board and everything, like with a DOF and everything like this. So it's going to take some time. But of course, it's quite a big change that Marina has very little to say this summer. And Tuchel will be the main decider for what players that we're going to bring in. And Todd Boehly has been in direct meetings with Tuchel many times, and it has been made clear that he's going to back Tuchel this summer and give him what he wants almost.
Can I come in?
No, you
Now
can't.
we're gonna talk about Declan Rice again, because I
No, I'm
said he's
joking.
gonna get what he wants.
Go ahead, Judas. Jump in, mate. Jump in.
I'm just a little bit frustrated. It's like the common sense is, of course, give Tuchel the power to choose his players, just like Klopp and Pep do at their respective clubs. But for example, when you look at how City did the Haaland deal, I bet you anything throughout the whole season there's been in communication with Haaland or Haaland camp, Dortmund, setting things, putting things together, organizing. Time came, boom, deal done, easy. Why don't we do that? And this is nothing to do with giving Tuchel decision making when it comes to picking the players. Even if we pick a players on a board level, we spend 2, 3, 4 months dragging it until the end, and then what happens? It's either a collapse or we overpay, or we go panic someone target C, for example, because we can't even finalize target B as a replacement. So Jules Kounde, we haven't finished it yet. Jules Kounde should be already signed. Just like City signed Haaland, Kounde should be done. Done deal. It's done. Put it on the side. Let's focus on the next target. Because now we're going to be wasting the whole summer back and forth to get Kounde. And and we'll probably end up getting him, hopefully. But either we're going to be paying a lot of money and we're going to waste so much time focusing on these players instead of already finalizing them early, so we can work on rebuilding the other areas of problematic areas in the squad. It's frustrating. So maybe when Marina leaves the club and we find someone better or someone different,
why are you hating on Marina all the time? I mean, give the woman a break, man. Come on. This is probably the last season she's going to be at the club. Why are you hating on her, man? Chill, man. No, but seriously, you know, I agree with Julius in respect to Marina's accountability and responsibility is probably changed a hell of a lot. And I think the fact that Tuchel is in charge of who stays and who goes, he has probably taken a lot of the pressure off her in regards to making those decisions. That being said, how much is Tuchel gonna be backed by Todd Bowley? And the reason why I say this is because, right now in the chat people are talking about Koulibaly, and Koulibaly will probably be cheaper than a lot of people think. I think Koulibaly will be something in the region of 30, maybe to 40 million pounds, whereas last season I think Napoli were looking at 70 to 80 million pounds for him, so it's half the price of what he was then. In my opinion, Koulibaly is probably the best option to replace Tony Rudiger. Yes, we're going to spend money to sign him, and we're going to give him a bigger contract than what we did, what we probably would have given to Tony Rudiger. It's going to cost us more to bring in Koulibaly than it would have to keep Tony Rudiger, but we can thank Marina Galaskaya for that, and I know people are not going to like that, but it is what it is. Is Koulibaly the second defender Chelsea will sign this season, or could it be Skriniar from Inter Milan as a swap with Lukaku? Could it be De Ligt, because I'm hearing De Ligt is also a player Chelsea are looking at? Where are we going in regards to the replacement for Tony Rudiger? Where are we looking at in regards to the second centre back to partner with Kounde, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that Koulibaly is a player that Chelsea looks at, and he's one of the main players on that left centre back. I think at the moment, which two players are the most likely to come in at that left centre back at the moment are Koulibaly or De Ligt. Those players are probably the two hottest names now in Chelsea that they're considering about, because Tuchel loves both players and he would love to have one of them at Stamford Bridge. I know that Chelsea have already started to talk with the agent of Koulibaly, so they are starting to do a little bit of progress to it, but they haven't yet made a decision still. It's almost like there are still plans. They haven't started deep negotiations with Koulibaly. There's not started anything like it's just. I won't call it speculation because it's true speculations, because they're probably going to buy it's one of De Ligt or Koulibaly. They're probably going to do that, but it's not speculation. But there are serious interest, but they haven't really started to go very serious in for them. There are no talks yet with Napoli for the player, but they have him highly in the list, and they have started to talk with the player. I know the player actually would rather go to Barcelona than Chelsea. So still, Barcelona with their situation, I think there is almost impossible for them to bring in Koulibaly. So, and also he is very open to go to Chelsea. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. If he has the chance to leave Napoli now and go to Chelsea and finally try another experience, he would be all for it, of course. So Koulibaly is a player I would say to really look out for in the coming weeks.
I hope so. I really, really hope so. I think
Yeah,
Koulibaly is just what we need.
he's a beast.
He's a beast, and you know what, Andreas? He's only 30 years old, and for a centre back, he's in his prime. He is in his prime.
Yeah.
A player with his attributes, I would really be looking forward to having him. In our back line this season.
Yeah.
You mentioned in that statement Barcelona, and
Yeah.
it's very interesting because there's another player that Chelsea could potentially be interested in, who did or who was expected to go to Barcelona, and that is Robert Lewandowski. He is not happy at Bayern Munich. He wants to leave. He is gonna leave, but he was hoping to go to Barcelona. However, Barcelona are in such a mess right now financially that they can't really afford to sign him. Could Chelsea end up getting Lewandowski, or do you think it's too far fetched for us to
Mm,
be, aiming for him?
yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah. It looks really, really difficult that also because the player has his heart in Barcelona. He has locked everything out of his head. He's just thinking about Barcelona. He has done this now for weeks, and he has made it clear to Bayern that he wants to go to Barcelona. And to be honest, right now Chelsea are looking at the player. Yes, they have an interest in the player. They would love to have him at Stamford Bridge, but again, it's also up to the player. And at the moment, the player has his heart in Barcelona. Only if something crazy happens with the Barcelona story and their financial goes terrible, then it will be an option. But I'm not even sure if, for example, if he doesn't, if he's not able uh, to go to Barcelona this summer. I think he might just stay at Bayern Munich for another year and then go for free to Barcelona next year.
All right, all right. I'm gonna do something different now. I'm gonna do something different for the people in the chat. Um, People in the chat, yeah, I'm going to give you guys an opportunity to ask Andreas questions. And the way we're going to do that for the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share the screen with you guys. If I can find it. Alright. I want you guys to type in the chat hashtag blue. Type in hashtag blue. I'm going to select one of you. And the person I select is able to put in a super chat for Andreas. So hashtag blue in the chat, and you can ask Andreas any question you want if your name is selected. All right. In the meantime, Julius, is there anything you wanna cover?
No, we're good to go. Maybe the questions will give me more inspirations, because the main thing that I like to cover is my frustration of how slow we are, and some of the targets that I'm not a big fan of. But yeah,
Name one.
look, to be honest, sorry, I'm not. It's not that I'm not a big fan of, but I'm worried about. Koulibaly is one. Gabriel Jesus is another. Uh, I have like reservations on that. I watch a lot of Serie A, so I have some opinions on Koulibaly. Like he has a mistake under pressure. He's not the greatest uh, on the ball, so we'll see. Maybe look what happened to Rudiger under Tuchel. So
All right. We're gonna get a question from CS Olb Club. I don't know, dude. Put your put your question in the chat, and we will answer it for you. I'm not sure how you pronounce your name, but Slob. Alright. Let's see your question in the chat, and we will answer it for you. I'm gonna pick another one. So that will be the first question that we're gonna answer. We're gonna draw again. Also, we're gonna get a question from TCFC. TCFC, you also have a question that we will answer. And the third one is going to be a question from Eric Dugan. Eric Dugan, you also have a question that we will answer. So, first question is... Let me just change screens. First question is, why aren't we going all out for Mane and not these rejects from City? All right, well, what do you think, Andreas? Why don't we go for Mane? I mean, he wants to leave.
Yeah, it's again a player that's, of course, you look at that is really good and all that stuff, but I think it's more about the age thing with Mane. The player is kind of old, and also, Mane wants to be respectful to Liverpool. He knows that he doesn't want to, or Liverpool doesn't want him to go to Chelsea because they don't want to strengthen a rival. So I think he's looking more at going elsewhere, also to respect Liverpool because he has been there so many years. He's arguably a legend for them. So I think it's about that stuff as well, and also because that Chelsea, as Julius has stated many times in the stream, Chelsea are really slow in this market. We have not had owners, and it has been a lot of still a process where Tuchel and Boyle and other people have discussed what player we are going to bring in this market. We are still in the plans. We are still making plans for the summer. So we probably haven't been able to start talking to the player when he was already in advanced talks with Bayern Munich and other clubs. So it was we were really late to go in for Mane.
All right. Next question is from Eric Dugan, and then we have TCFC after him. Eric Dugan is saying, Basuma, any truth to Chelsea showing interest?
Yes, he is one player that they are looking at, also because he's a cheaper alternative. Bissouma, also Sangare, another player, but also Manchester United are strongly interested in him, so it's going to be difficult. But Bissouma is truly a player that they look at and is a really good possibility for the central midfielder. So it's really truly interest.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, especially when the alternative is £150 million Englishman from West Ham. So
yeah, it's really a lot cheaper.
He is. TCFC is asking, will Chelsea Football Club sell Kepa?
Good question. Chelsea wants to sell Kepa, actually, because they want to get rid of the wages, not because they don't think he's a good enough backup option, but he earns 150k pounds a week, and then he also has some bonuses that makes his salary to 190k a week. So it's really a lot of wages for a second goalkeeper. So they are looking to sell him. I know that Lazio are really interested in the player. Lazio has made inquiries about the players and know about the player, and they have spoken also to the player himself. And of course, Kepa is open to go to a place where he can play first team football. He wants to play. At the moment, he's not happy to just stay on the bench, but he knows the situation. And Edouard Mendy is the first choice option at Chelsea. But Kepa is a player that Chelsea would love to get rid of and just bring in, for example, all these all these backup keepers that you can just have on the bench. We all know all about them. Begovic, Forster. We know, not these players. They're not going to be available, but at the moment, Chelsea don't have a list of backup goalkeepers what they're going to bring in. But they would love to get rid of Kepa to bring in a second option that's going to have a lot less wages than Kepa.
All right. That's the answer to your question, T. Look, guys, this stream was always going to be an hour, and we will be doing 1 hour every Friday night, between 10 to 11, 9 to 10. That is the kind of time frame we will be streaming on, or focusing on. I know there's a lot of questions in the chat, but we don't want the stream to go for longer than an hour. And we will address all of your questions in the next stream. We will also be focusing every now and then to doing a stream where we address purely your questions rather than us discussing topics and stories that we want to discuss. We will do the odd stream where Andreas will spend the entire hour answering your questions in the stream. So, we'll do that in the future. So, we've got a long window ahead of us. Did we not hit 100 likes? Did we seriously not hit 100 likes? 96. Guys,
Come on,
this is
smash the like button. Come on.
This is the premiere. This is the premiere. You gotta be liking this premiere. You gotta be hitting the likes on the premiere. We will be back again on Sunday night with the panel show where I will have my regular panelists discussing all the relevant issues and stories this Sunday evening. And they are my two main streams, guys. The transfer window show, which is this one, and the panel debate, which will be on Sunday night. I want to say thank you to everyone who's joined. I see Peter's in the chat as well. Good to have you guys here. Wissam, Football Styles, is in the house. Have I missed anyone? I think we've addressed pretty much everyone. Deals, JM, Gabriel, Deals. Yeah, everyone, welcome and thank you all for being here. Before we sign out, let me give Julius and Andreas final comments, final thoughts. Julius is laughing. I don't know what he's laughing at. Julius, what are you laughing at, mate? Did I say something funny?
I'm laughing at one of the comments from John.
What did John say? Prime TV or Prime TV? This one?
It's the one below Jeff.
Below Jeff, Mohammed Qasim, Andreas, and Julius Caesar. Big up.
Oh.
Yeah, the trilogy. Big up.
Last statement.
Yeah. Final thoughts. Final
thoughts. Look, I just hope we move fast. I don't have much to say. I just hope we move fast. I hope Tuchel is actually getting the players he needs. And no matter who they are, I'm going to support him. And I'm going to support the players. Even though I said I don't rate. I'm just a little bit cautious when it comes to Gabriel or Koulibaly. But if that's what he wants, I'm all in for it, Many times we've seen players like Jesus who were in a very good team not performing at the best level, then you move them to a different team and they absolutely smash it. So optimistic, but I'm frustrated with how slow we are and how we haven't at least Kounde finalized it, because we've been linked with him from last year. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, no, definitely a what's the word here? A transfer window that requires patience is upon us. And the thing is, with us, we're used to having 3 or 4 signings every window. And with the expectations for Tuchel to be rebuilding, to be getting the players that he wants, with Todd Bowley coming in, I think maybe we are over expecting, over anticipating what this window is going to bring us. But hopefully we do get some of these marquee signings that we want. Andreas, your final thoughts, my brother.
No, I'm just looking forward to the summer. I think it's going to be a really good one. I can't wait to see new players come into Chelsea, and yeah, it's going to be a really good one. I hope we can see some great talents and some superstars come into Stamford Bridge this summer. It would be lovely, and yeah, I'm just really looking forward to the summer and everything.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this transfer window, the preseason. What's going on? I can't see that. It's too fuzzy.
I'll just read it real quick. I'll read it.
Go on.
It's very recent tweet by a big Chelsea account. So it's saying Di Marzio claims there's no meeting for Lukaku because there's no one to contact from Chelsea, and instead Lukaku is talking to the new owner about his future.
You broke up just right at the end there. No one to contact.
No, so Di Marzio claims
Yeah.
there's no meeting for Lukaku because there is no one to contact from Chelsea, and instead Lukaku is talking to the new owner about his future. So
Yeah. Apparently, there's some. What's the word here? Some interesting groups in the US who are becoming mediators in this in this in this saga. Hopefully, there are people who are able to instigate the removal of Lukaku from Chelsea Football Club, and closing the chapter on a very disappointing signing in our recent history. Lads, it's been a pleasure to have you on my show. It's been a pleasure to have you guys in the chat. We are going to sign out, and we will see you all on Sunday evening. Take care of yourselves. Stay blessed, stay good, and have a great evening. Peace out. Bye bye.